growth in your business, because fundamentally we might not want to grow our businesses bigger than what they are today, but you still want clients and you still need money coming into your business. So this talk is really adaptable to whatever you want to do. I'm not trying to dictate to you and say you must do this and you must do that. This is about me generating some ideas in your brain and trying to get you to focus on some tasks that you need to be doing for you, because what you might need to be doing is going to be very different. And then when you've done it, just pop your hand up so I can have a quick look at the grid and see if everybody's done it. Just pop the little hand signal up in the corner, and then I'll be able to see if everybody's done it. Remember to put your hand up if you've done it, as I can see how many people. All right, looks like most of you have done it. Right. So add up your total score. Now, this is your scoring guide. So if you got 25 to 30, then you are an automation champion. So you have strongly adopted the digital tools that are available. If you're 20 to 24, you're efficient, but you might have some areas that you need to refine. If you're 15 to 19, then you are using a few tools, but not fully integrated or fully optimized. And if you're under 15, you are still too manual heavy. And there is a real opportunity for you to digitize and basically get back some of that wasted time that no doubt is leaking through your business. So here's some ideas to improve digital efficiency, and I will send you this list afterwards. But think about, cloud storage, moving to task management software, having your CRM integrated, and thinking about automating recurring admin. AI's offered huge opportunities with doing this, but there are so many tools out there that will help you. Setting up dashboards so that you can see everything in one place is also really good. And, thinking about checking your social media bios, are they up to date? I was working with somebody the other day whose social media was so out of date, they hadn't updated it for ages, the links didn't work. Thinking about if you haven't got a Google business profile, make sure you've done that and it's all up to date. And making sure that you are using scheduling tools where possible and automating your bookkeeping, making tax digital is coming. And frankly, if you get yourself over to the cloud now, you're going to save yourself so much time, trying to excuse me, raise manual invoice is really not a good idea. And then using automated booking tools can save you so much time. So things like Calendly, Acuity, there's loads of them out there. Oh, Scott, sorry, I said this would happen. I just think automate as much as you possibly can in your business because it actually saves you time. And I know it takes time to set it up, but once you've done that, it does pay dividends in the end. Now, the second self score I want you to do is your digital presence. So looking at your digital, oh God, sorry, your digital presence. So this is a self-assessment. So it goes through your website, your social media, your customer engagement, your marketing and lead generation, and your analytics. So I want you to score yourself while I go off and have a coughing fit. And I'll be back in a minute to give you your scores. I'm going to put myself on mute because I think I'm going to have a horrible coughing fit right now. And when you finish, pop your hand up so I know how many people have done it.
Debbie, you're on mute.
Oh yeah. So thank you. So if you got 40 to 50 on this one, then excellent. Well done. Give you a round of applause. 30 to 39 is good. And you need to maybe look at that more closely and think which areas do you need to strengthen. 20 to 29 needs improvement. So your online visibility might be a bit patchy, you might be missing some opportunities. And 10 to 19 is quite weak. So digital presence is probably holding your business back a bit. So here's some marketing and visibility tasks to throw at you. So a website refresh might be the thing that you need to be doing. Having a look at, for example, your SEO. If you're not found on Google, you're definitely missing opportunities there. And also looking at your user experience, how people find their way around your website. And working with somebody like Karen, who's here today, can massively help you with that. And also making sure your website is optimized for mobile. A lot of people miss that and they lose business because of it. Thinking about your content, can you perhaps put together a content calendar and be consistent with what you're doing? So blogs, videos, thought leadership posts, and picking the right platforms as well. Thinking about your customer testimonials and your case studies, are you collecting those on a regular basis and showcasing those as social proof? Thinking about email marketing, again, are you nurturing your leads with automated sequences? Are you actually, using a proper email platform? Again, I did some mentoring with a lady a couple of weeks ago who had all her emails on a spreadsheet. And of course, she couldn't see who was opening, who was clicking on things, and very easily we set up MailerLite and got her sorted out. And, it's really made a difference. And she's already got some business from that. And then, for some of you, investing in paid ads or targeted campaigns might be a good idea as well. Again, I would advise you work with an expert on this, but, you know, fundamentally, this can provide regular leads for your business as well. And then what collaborations can you be doing and PR? So, for example, how else can you get yourself visible? And that could be by starting a podcast. We've got a podcast expert here today, Donna, or maybe being a podcast guest or writing guest blogs for other people, speaking at events. You need to pick out some of the things for yourself that you think that are tasks that you could be doing to push your business forwards. And then sales pipeline tasks. Gosh, I see a lot of people with what I call a leaky pipeline. And that's because they're not really mapping their buyer journey properly. They're not looking at their follow-up systems. They're not looking at how they can upsell other products and services to somebody. And another thing is, how do you incentivize people to refer your business to, to their friends or their families or their colleagues? So having a customer referral scheme in place can work really well. And, a lot of businesses I work with, the problem is that they're not managing where the leads are coming from and dealing with them fast and efficiently. And that might mean that actually using a virtual assistant might be a better option for you, where someone can answer your calls or deal with your emails quickly, because most people won't wait too long. Once they've contacted your business, they're going to want a response within 24 hours. After that, your leads go cold very, very quickly. And the other thing I work with a lot of people on is thinking around, what are the products and services that people actually want? Often you work with somebody and you say to them, well, where did you come up with this idea for this service that isn't selling? And they'll say, oh, well, I came up with it, but, didn't really sort of test the market, didn't do any research, just hoped and prayed that people would buy it. That's probably not the best strategy. And you've got a huge network here at Businesswomen UnLtd. You've got your Facebook groups for the groups that you attend, and use that group. Ask people's views and opinions and see what people think. Go to your group leader, come to me. I'm more than happy to give you some feedback. And really thinking about, what your business offers, what other revenue streams can you do? That is so important to create more revenue in your business. And then collaborating. You know, collaboration is so important. It's so important. I collaborated on a book about it. And collaboration for me has been absolutely vital. So Louise is here today from WIBN, and you might think, oh, she runs another networking company. But actually, I've collaborated with Louise over many, many years. We used to run the Three Counties Business Expo together. You know, I'm a member of WIBN, I'm a member of Athena, you know, I'm a member of other networking groups, and I regularly collaborate with other people who do things that are very similar to me, if not the same, because there's so much mutual benefit in that. And I'm all about collaboration because I think it's a win-win scenario. So I think have a think about who you've met, who you know, and if there's, you know, people you haven't met, go to your group leaders, go to your groups and say, look, you know, I'm looking to collaborate with this type of person or this type of business to do some work, and shout out about it and see who comes forward, because actually collaboration is key. And I, you know, when people ask me why have my businesses been so successful, collaboration has been actually the bedrock of everything that I've done. So I think that that is really important. And, you know, thinking about events that you can collaborate on, books that you can collaborate on, podcasts, courses, there's all sorts of things. Like two of the group leaders, Talia and Victoria, are running a collaboration event in October, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Victoria. Um, you know, and it's wonderful when I see these things happening because I think, oh, that's brilliant. You know, you can share the cost, you can share each other's lists. So it's so important. Use your network. I can't stress that enough. And then general visibility tasks, things that you can do to make yourself more visible, comes back to, again, I was mentioning earlier about having your own podcast or being a guest on a podcast. Podcasts are a great way. You know, I've got a podcast called the Business Awards Show. If any of you have got podcasts, put them in the chat so that we can all support them and listen to them and share them. And of course, I'm going to say business awards are another thing that'll help you get visible. We're not running the Shining Star Awards this year, but we are bringing it back next year for our 15th birthday. We're taking a little break. But there are so many business awards out there. And again, you know, there are ways of doing this, getting a strategy together and really thinking seriously about which award you want to apply for. And then I would also think about books. Now, you don't have to go all out and publish a full book. You can do a mini book. You could do an ebook, which is relatively easy to do. If you can access Canva, you can get one done on there quite easily. And it's just about consolidating and bringing your ideas together and creating something that your clients will be interested in. So I'll give you an example of somebody I'm working with at the moment. She's written an ebook about holidaying with people with dementia. And we've been running a very low cost Facebook ad campaign for the last 3 months with this book. It's 10 steps. It's very simple, but it's really got a lot of rich information in it and lots of links and loads of details for people. Now, we've had 900 people on her email list as a result of that ebook, which is on a site called Publo. And, you know, it's a really good way of you garnering stats, because when you have it on something like Publo, you can get their details. So you make it what's called gated content. And actually, you know, you've actually got people directly interested in that topic, because why else would they download the ebook and leave their email? And that then enables her to email them other goods and services that she's got on offer. So my advice is to really think about that, because it's actually a fairly simple strategy and something you can do. And then my final note on this slide is about speaking. And, you know, those of you know me I go speaking all over the country. This year I'm in Manchester, Bristol, I've been in Windsor, and I'm in Reading, and oh my God. And I've just been invited to speak at an event in Bridgend, you know, arse end of Wales somewhere, I don't know. But I will go and do these things because actually they're really good for me for visibility and for, you know, connecting with my ideal audience. So think about some of those sorts of things that you could do to actually get more visibility on your business. And then my final point is about participating in local community and charity initiatives. And I can't stress this enough. And again, it's something I've been very, very passionate about since I started my business, is always about what can I give back? Who can I support? Because actually, it didn't occur to me for quite a while because I just did it without thinking about the payback. And there has been a payback on it in spades. And actually, I really try and encourage all the businesses I work with to have this as part of their marketing strategy, is thinking about who they can align with, who can they support, what can they do to give back to others, because actually it does open up new customer channels without a doubt, and it does give you business back, but it also gives you that feel good factor, and you're doing something really good. So think about that as well. And obviously think about alignment. I know the lovely Natalie who's here today, she goes into children's hospitals and does ballooning, and it's amazing. But she will be remembered for that when those children are better and they need a party or they know somebody. So always think about that alignment, because actually alignment is quite important when you're thinking about which charities to support. So, you've got the lovely Lisa Sinnott here, who is a dog and cat trainer. She's obviously aligned with charities that deal with animals. So it's kind of thinking about alignment, really important, and it really does build goodwill. So I've chucked a lot of ideas at you this morning, but how on earth do you prioritize what to do without overwhelm? So here's my little strategy that I go through with my clients and myself, is I would suggest that you brain dump a task list, not now, but after this call, of all the things that you need to do, and then score each of your ideas against these three criteria. So if you're thinking about short-term goals like getting things moving, more revenue in your business by the end of the year, you need to score those tasks and go, well, how much will this task increase my revenue, my visibility, my benefits to my customers, or my efficiency? And how simple is it going to be for me to get these things done and see results? And how quickly will you see a benefit? So you score those ideas 1 to 5 against those three criteria. And then you add up and pick your big three. Because the trouble is that as entrepreneurs, we tend to do the things that we like to do, right? Would you agree with that? You tend to do, I'll do that task because I like doing it, when actually it might not be the best task in order to move your business forwards. And I see a lot of people farting about with the wrong things and the wrong focus, and that's why their business isn't powering itself forward. So start thinking about what's going to get you to where you want to be by the end of the year. And for most of you, it will be about having some more money in your bank account. And then break your tasks down. So define what done looks like, okay? And split it into smaller actions that you can do in 30 to 60 minutes and schedule it in your diary. And that's the most important thing. The trouble is we drift along and we don't actually schedule sometimes time in our diaries to work on our business. And then the final thing is you might end up with a list and think, well, actually, I could outsource that task, because if that task is going to end up generating you money, then, we've got some VAs here today. Use a VA to help you. In the early stages of my business, I used a VA, and it was quite a new thing back in those days. And I worked with several VAs in the first few years of my business, and it really did help me. And sometimes you think, oh, that's going to cost me some money and da 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 da. But actually, if that money is being turned into a higher revenue for your business, then it's money well spent. So by the end of 2025, I want you to have some goals and measure your success for yourself, because there, as I said at the beginning, there isn't a one size fits all. This is very much about what you personally want to achieve. And for some of you, it will be increased revenue. For some of you, it might be refreshing your online presence. It might be that you've got a better, clear, documented sales and marketing funnel. It might be that you need to streamline your operations a bit more, or it might be that you want to put in a growth initiative so that you've got maybe a new partnership or a new product or a new market. So that is the end of my little presentation. So I hope that was useful. I'm sorry, I'm so full of cold and I've tried to stay pretty focused.